Whether you're a tech enthusiast, industry professional, or just curious about the future of AI Agents Unleashed will keep you informed and inspired. Buckle up and get ready to unleash the potential of AI.
Okay, so get this. You sent over like a ton of research on large language models, and guess what? They were all published today. I know, right? You're on top of it.
It's crazy how fast this field is moving.
Yeah, no kidding. So we are going to deep dive into all of this new research, and it's a lot. So buckle up. There's efficiency hacks, hidden knowledge, even like the human element is in here.
Lots of aha moments for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up, efficiency.
Yeah.
These LLMs, I mean, they're incredible, but they can be resource hogs.
Yeah.
So this paper on Hades, it really stood out to me. They're actually designing new hardware specifically for LLMs.
Yeah, it's like you're building a custom gym for these AI athletes, you know?
I like that.
Hades is all about these specialized chips to make LLMs faster and smoother. Like imagine if your phone could handle tasks that used to need a supercomputer.
Oh, that would change everything. That would be huge. Okay, but it's not just hardware, right?
Right.
There's this paper on Dota, and they're talking about a new way to fine-tune LLMs.
Yeah.
So they learn better, but with less effort.
Exactly. It's like giving LLMs a personal trainer, right? Instead of lifting every single weight during training,
Yeah.
they focus on the most important ones with this Dota.
Yeah.
And they even have this version called QDota for devices with like limited memory.
It's incredible how much they're able to squeeze out of these models.
It really is.
Yeah. So we've got faster hardware, we've got more efficient fine-tuning, and then there's this paper, verbosity-aware rationale reduction. Sounds like they're putting LLMs on a word diet.
In a way, yeah. Sometimes they can be a little chatty,
Yeah.
generating tons of text that isn't necessary. This technique helps them kind of slim down their reasoning, but without sacrificing the accuracy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's like learning to, express yourself clearly and concisely, a valuable skill for LLMs and humans.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got faster hardware, more efficient, fine-tuning, and like leaner reasoning.
Yeah.
What's next in this LLM world?
Well, hold on to your hats because it gets really mind-bending now. We're going to explore the hidden knowledge that's lurking inside these LLMs.
Ooh, I love a good mystery.
Yeah. So this paper, are LLMs really not knowledgeable?
Right.
It really hooked me with the title.
It's a good one.
What is going on here?
Well, it turns out even when they get the answer wrong, the right answer is often hiding somewhere in their brain. It's like they know more than they realize.
Wait, so they're holding out on us?
They kind of are, yeah. And so researchers are developing ways to coax out this hidden knowledge.
So how do we unlock this secret knowledge?
So one way is with this technique called skip unsure. And so imagine you ask an LLM a question, and instead of giving you like a potentially wrong answer, it says, hold on, I need to check my notes.
Okay.
And so skip unsure allows the model to flag those moments of uncertainty and dig a little deeper into its internal knowledge.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like giving them a fact-checking superpower.
Exactly. And this leads us to another really interesting paper called Comparison QA. And this is introducing a new way to test their knowledge
Okay.
by asking them questions about less common or obscure information. So instead of like general knowledge trivia, we're throwing them some curveballs.
Exactly. And surprisingly, even the most advanced models, like GPT-4, they struggle with these tougher questions.
Wow.
It shows we need better ways to measure their true understanding beyond just that surface-level knowledge.
It's like we're always playing catch-up, trying to understand just how much they really know.
We really are, yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of understanding, let's move on to the human element in all of this. After all, we're the ones building these models and interacting with them.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the papers, LLM2, it proposes this new framework that's actually inspired by how our brains work.
So are we giving LLMs a second brain?
In a way, yes.
Huh.
So LLM2 adds this verifier component that acts like a second layer of thought, and it basically double-checks the LLM's output for mistakes.
So it's like a built-in editor or fact checker?
Yeah, exactly. It could significantly boost accuracy,
Yeah.
especially for like those complex tasks where precision is critical.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like having a second set of eyes to catch those errors.
Right. And then we have natural language fine-tuning, which takes a different approach to guiding LLMs. And instead of like complex reward systems or tons of human feedback, this technique uses simple, everyday language instructions.
So we're just talking to them like we would a colleague or a friend.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a much more intuitive and efficient way to fine-tune them, especially when you don't have a lot of resources.
It's like we're learning to speak their language and they're learning to speak ours.
That's a great way to put it.
So far, we've covered advancements in efficiency knowledge and even how we communicate with these LLMs. I'm blown away by all this progress.
Me too.
Are you ready to see how these LLMs are being applied in the real world?
Absolutely. Let's get to the real-world applications.
Okay, this is where we see how LLMs are actually shaping the world around us. So one area where they're making a real difference is in cyberbullying detection.
Yeah.
I mean, a study found that BERT-based models are achieving like 95% accuracy in identifying cyberbullying on social media platforms.
That's amazing.
I know, it's incredible. Imagine the potential to create safer online spaces.
It really is. But the study also cautions that even with these advanced generative models, sometimes a carefully fine-tuned model for a specific task can be more effective.
So it's not always about using the biggest and fanciest LLM.
Not always. Sometimes a more specialized approach is needed.
Okay, makes sense. Another really exciting application is in mental health support.
Definitely.
LLMs are being used to analyze those emotional patterns in conversations. And that could potentially help with like preliminary mental health assessments.
It could be huge.
Imagine if AI could help identify people who need support early on.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about using AI to like augment human capabilities and improve people's lives.
I love that. Okay, so we're using it to improve lives, and then we're also pushing boundaries in fields like mathematics and law. For example, there's this Hanyu improver, and it's achieving state-of-the-art results improving mathematical theorems.
It's mind-blowing.
They're even solving international math Olympiad problems.
Yeah.
I can barely remember the Pythagorean theorem.
Me too.
And then there's GPT 4.0. It's being used to decode regulatory documents.
Yeah, this is huge.
Imagine legal language being clear and consistent and accessible to everyone.
That's the goal.
I mean, from boosting efficiency to tackling real-world problems, it's clear LLMs are a force to be reckoned with.
It's amazing.
And we're just beginning to understand the full scope of their impact.
For sure.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. So before we move on, what stands out to you? What are you most excited about?
Honestly, the sheer potential of these models to tackle real-world problems. We're talking about everything from, combating cyberbullying to improving mental health support to like revolutionizing the legal system. It's incredible.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface. Are you ready for even more mind-blowing applications and deeper insights?
Let's do it. I'm ready for more. It's amazing to see just how far LLMs have come in such a short time. But there's still so much we're learning about them.
Right. It's like we're these explorers charting unknown territory.
It really is.
So what other cool applications did you find in these papers?
Well, one that caught my eye is this system called OneKey. It's basically an LLM-powered research assistant. Imagine having an AI that can, scour the web, read PDFs, and organize all that information
Wow.
into a neat, structured format.
That would save researchers so much time.
It would.
It's like having a superpower research librarian at your fingertips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could totally revolutionize how we gather and understand information.
I love it.
And then there's this paper on efficient multi-agent collaboration with tool use for online planning and complex table question answering.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, don't let the title scare you.
Okay.
It's actually a really cool concept. Think of it like a team of AI detectives
Okay.
working together to solve a complex case. They each have their own specialties, and they can use tools like calculators or databases to access information.
Oh, so they're not just working in isolation, they're like collaborating and using tools.
Exactly. It's a glimpse into the future of AI, where these intelligent agents can work together to tackle these challenges that would be impossible for just a single AI.
That is fascinating. It's like they're learning from each other and becoming more intelligent as a team.
It really is. And this collaborative approach isn't just limited to, problem solving.
Okay.
Another paper caught my attention because it focuses on a specific language spoken in West Africa called Yoruba.
Okay.
It's YAD, leveraging T5 for improved automatic diacritization of Yoruba text.
Diacritization. Okay, I'm going to need a quick refresher on what that is.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Mhm.
So diacritical marks are those little symbols you sometimes see above or below letters in certain languages. They can change the pronunciation or meaning of a word. Think of accents in French or louts in German.
Right. Got it. Okay, so how do LLMs fit into all of this?
Well, this paper explores how LLMs can be used to automatically add those diacritical marks to Yoruba text, making it easier for people to read and understand.
Oh,
It might seem like a small thing,
yeah.
but it's a huge step towards making AI more inclusive and accessible to people who speak languages other than English.
That's such an important point. AI shouldn't just be for English speakers. It should benefit everyone. It's great to see researchers focusing on making these technologies more diverse and inclusive.
It really is. And speaking of diversity, remember that comparison QA paper we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
It highlights the need for training data that reflects a wider range of cultures and perspectives.
Right. We can't expect LLMs to understand the world if they're only exposed to a narrow slice of it.
We can't.
We need to feed them information from all sorts of cultures and backgrounds.
Exactly. It's about making sure that these models are well-rounded and capable of understanding and responding to a diverse range of inputs.
So in a way, we're not just teaching these LLMs about language, we're teaching them about the world and all its complexities.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And as these models become more sophisticated, they're being used for some really amazing things.
Okay.
One paper that blew my mind was about Hunyuan Prover. It's an LLM that's achieving state-of-the-art results in proving mathematical theorems.
Hold on, LLMs are proving mathematical theorems now?
They are.
That's incredible. I can barely remember the Pythagorean theorem.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
mind-boggling. They've even solved some problems from the International Math Olympiad,
Wow.
the kind that make most people's heads spin. It makes you wonder, what are the limits of these models?
Right. It's like they're going from solving equations to deciphering legal jargon.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that paper about GPT 4.0 decoding regulatory documents is fascinating. Imagine a world where legal language is clear, consistent, accessible to everyone. That's the potential we're talking about.
It's incredible. And that's just one example. This other paper talks about a system called CertainDex that's being used to make LLM-powered reasoning programs more efficient.
Okay, explain it to me like I'm 5. How does CertainX work?
Okay, so think of it like optimizing the engine of a race car. You want it to be powerful and fast, but you also want it to be fuel efficient, right? CertainDex is like a smart fuel injection system for LLMs. It dynamically allocates computing resources based on the complexity of the task.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so simpler tasks use less power, while those complex tasks get the resources they need.
So it's all about making those complex reasoning processes more streamlined and efficient.
Exactly. And then there's this paper on TangoFlux. It's a new model that can generate high-quality audio from text in real time.
What?
We're talking about speeds that were just unimaginable a few years ago.
That's amazing. Imagine being able to create audiobooks or podcasts instantly just by typing in the text.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
This technology could revolutionize everything from entertainment to education to accessibility.
It's like having a personal voice actor at your fingertips.
It is.
What else is catching your eye in this stack of papers?
Well, there's this one on SWGym. It's a framework for training LLM-powered software engineering agents. Essentially, we're talking about creating AI programmers that can work alongside human engineers.
Wow, that's straight out of science fiction AI programmer.
I know, right? It's mind-blowing. It has the potential to completely transform how we develop and maintain software.
That's incredible.
And then there's this paper on Aviary, a framework for training LLM-powered scientific agents.
So we're talking about AI scientists now.
We are.
What will they discover?
That's the exciting part. These AI agents can analyze data, generate hypotheses, and even design experiments. It's like having a team of tireless, brilliant research assistants working around the clock.
It sounds like LLMs are becoming more and more integrated into every aspect of our lives. It's both exciting and a little bit daunting, to be honest.
I agree. It's a lot to process. And we haven't even talked about the challenges and potential risks yet.
Right. We need to make sure that we're using these technologies responsibly. But before we dive into that, what's one takeaway from these papers that's really sticking with you?
For me, it's the incredible speed of progress in this field. It seems like every day there's a new breakthrough, a new application that pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's truly an amazing time to be following LLM research.
I'm with you on that. It's a wild ride, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Now, ready to dive into some of those challenges? I know I am.
Bring it on. I'm curious to see what you found in those papers.
Okay, so we've seen how LLMs are tackling those real-world problems and even pushing the boundaries of scientific discovery. But there's another trend, and it's about how these models are interacting with each other.
Yeah, you're talking about distributed LLMs, right? Where multiple models work together, like a team.
Exactly. I found this paper, Distributed Mixture of Agents for Edge Inference with Large Language Models, and it blew my mind. It talks about how LLMs can operate on edge devices like our phones or smart home gadgets, and they collaborate without even relying on a central server.
Wow. It's like this decentralized brain, spread across multiple devices. Each device contributes its own little piece of the puzzle. And together they form this powerful network of intelligence.
Imagine a future where your phone, your car, and your home are all working together seamlessly, powered by these interconnected LLMs.
It's like science fiction.
Yeah.
But of course, there are challenges to making this vision a reality. Like
Ah.
one of the big ones is dealing with limited memory and processing power of those edge devices.
Yeah, you can't expect your smart refrigerator to have the same power as a supercomputer.
Right. So researchers are developing these clever techniques to distribute tasks and share information efficiently among these devices. It's like a well-choreographed dance where each device knows its role and contributes to the overall performance.
It's fascinating to think about how these distributed LLMs will evolve. What new possibilities will they unlock?
I know it's exciting. But there's another challenge that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's something that's plagued AI for a long time: catastrophic forgetting.
Oh, yeah, the AI equivalent of having a brain like a sieve.
Exactly.
It's the tendency for models to forget previously learned information when they are trained on new data.
Right.
So I found this paper, an empirical study of catastrophic forgetting in large language models during continual fine-tuning, and it seems like even LLMs are susceptible to this problem.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But researchers are exploring a bunch of different approaches.
Like,
Well, one idea is to incorporate a memory buffer into the model, so you can store previously learned information and access it later. It's like giving the model a notebook to jot down important notes.
so it's like how we use notes and reminders.
Yeah, exactly. Another approach is to use regularization techniques, which basically penalize the model for forgetting old information. It's like a teacher giving you extra homework if you don't remember what you learned last week.
Okay, so there are ways to address this.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like there's a lot of work being done to make these LLMs more robust and reliable learners, which is crucial if we want them to be truly useful in the real world.
For sure. And speaking of real-world usefulness, one area where LLMs are showing a lot of promise is in combating hate speech.
Okay.
I found this paper, RISD-G, Retrieval-Augmented Zero-Shot Counter-Narrative Generation for Hate Speech.
Hate speech is such a pervasive problem online. So what is this paper proposing?
They've developed this method for generating counter-narratives, basically messages that challenge and refute hate speech. And the really cool thing is it can be applied to unseen targets. Meaning it can effectively counter new forms of hate speech as they emerge.
It's like having an AI bodyguard that can shield us from online toxicity.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. It's a powerful tool for promoting tolerance and creating a more inclusive online environment.
It's inspiring to see how LLMs are being used to address these important social issues.
I agree. But while we're celebrating all these advancements, it's important to remember that we also need to evaluate these models rigorously.
Right. We need to make sure they're actually doing what we expect them to do and that they're doing it well. I came across a paper on fine-grained and explainable factuality evaluation for multimodal summarization. It sounds like they're putting LLMs under a microscope.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're developing new frameworks to evaluate how accurate and factual these LLM-generated summaries are, especially when those summaries are based on both text and images.
That's important because we know LLMs can sometimes hallucinate. You know, they generate text that sounds plausible but isn't actually true.
Exactly, and hallucinations can be a big problem, especially when accuracy is crucial.
Yeah.
So this research is all about making sure those LLM-generated summaries are grounded in reality.
It's like a fact-checking process for AI, which seems pretty essential as these models become more integrated into our lives. And speaking of integration, another important aspect to consider is intellectual property protection.
Definitely, with LLMs becoming so powerful, it's important to protect the intellectual property of those who create and train them.
For sure. This paper, Code IP, a grammar-guided multi-bit watermark for large language models of code, caught my eye. They're proposing a way to watermark code generated by LLMs, like an invisible signature.
It's like a digital fingerprint that proves the code was created by a specific LLM.
Okay.
This is a big step towards establishing trust and accountability in the world of AI-generated code.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
We need to make sure that developers can protect their work and reap the rewards of their innovation.
for sure.
And while we're talking about all these different fields, I can't leave out the incredible progress being made in medicine with LLMs.
Oh, absolutely. This paper, a comprehensive survey of large language models and multimodal large language models in medicine. It provides a fantastic overview of how LLMs are revolutionizing healthcare.
It's amazing to think about the potential LLMs could be used to analyze medical images, predict patient outcomes, personalize treatment plans, so much more.
It's like having an army of AI doctors working alongside human physicians to provide the best possible care.
It's mind-boggling, and this is just the beginning. I'm so excited to see what the future holds for this incredible technology. But before we wrap up, there's one concept I want to discuss. It's called weak to strong alignment transfer.
Oh yeah, that's a fascinating area of research. It's
Yeah.
all about making sure that powerful LLMs are aligned with human values and safety guidelines.
This paper, Contrans, Weak to Strong Alignment Engineering via Concept Transplantation, proposes a new approach to this challenge. Essentially, it involves transferring ethical guidelines from a smaller, weaker LLM to a larger, more powerful one.
It's like teaching a young child good manners and then trusting them to maintain those manners as they grow up.
Exactly. This approach could save a ton of time and resources in aligning these large models with human values, which is crucial for ensuring their safe and beneficial use.
I agree. And it really highlights the collaborative nature of this field. Researchers are constantly building upon each other's work, sharing ideas and knowledge to advance the field as a whole.
It's a true testament to the power of collective intelligence.
It really is. So what's your biggest takeaway from all of these papers? What's leaving you feeling inspired or hopeful about the future of LLMs?
Honestly, it's the sheer breadth of applications. From scientific discovery to social good to artistic expression, it seems like there's no limit to what these models can do. It's an incredibly exciting time to be witnessing this technological revolution.
I couldn't agree more. It's an honor to be a part of this journey.
And a big thanks to you for guiding us through this deep dive. It's been an amazing learning experience.
The pleasure was all mine. Until next time.
To all you listeners out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions. The world of LLMs is vast and ever evolving, and there's always something new to discover.